It was 2014, and I was pretty sick from about August. In October, it took doctors September, October, 2 months to figure out that I had lymph node tuberculosis. You understand what lymph node tuberculosis is. And in a city like Mumbai, to begin with, having something like tuberculosis is insane. And a healthy person like me, and this is half the size what I was. I was 120 kgs when I was diagnosed, and I kept putting on weight because my medicines killed my metabolism and my IQ, and I started stammering, and things followed. So I was on medications, allopathic medications, for about 40 days. That is when I figured out this is going to kill me, and so did my family, because I would take 5 to 10 minutes to say my name is Priya Mishra. And that was a bummer because I've been an outspoken person, I've been a media person, I've always gone out, and so my family said, let's just try something alternate. At that particular time, Ayurveda was one thing, but people didn't have much results. I explored something called cannabis at that particular time. I'm sure a lot of you know what cannabis is. For those who don't know, it is ganja. Medicinal cannabis is a very big thing across the globe in first world nations. Over 18 first world nations have allowed it, and it helps AIDS, cancer, arthritis, you name it. It's a long list of diseases. Though tuberculosis was something which there are hardly any cases, and lymph node tuberculosis, there are rarely any cases. So this was a very rare case. Still, I went on and I started the medication, and that was in 2014 in the month of November. Today in 2018, I stand here. I have started a company which does programs and campaigns for medicinal cannabis with doctors, patients. We've been working on legalization of cannabis while I healed completely. I have no traces of tuberculosis. It takes 12 years. You are a doctor, you have all the knowledge. So it takes 12 years, but this plant has actually gone ahead and healed me to a level where I'm standing over here. Unfortunately, there's a lot of taboo attached to it, especially in our country as well, though our country is the place where it all started. So I'm gonna give you a little, history of cannabis or canna or marijuana or Mary Jane or whatever you want to call it, 420. The oldest story begins with churning of the ocean. The Amrit Manthan in Hindi we call it. Amrit Manthan, when churning of the ocean happened. So when the poison came out, Shivji had it. The Amrit or the nectar came out, the gods had it. And after that, there was one drop of nectar which fell down on the mountain. And it is said with that particular, drop is what cannabis sprung out. And that is exactly why Shivji, started having it, because he had poison in his neck. So ideally, Shivji was the first medicinal cannabis patient in the history of mankind who, as soon as the plant came into existence, just applied it on his neck and started consuming it. Now, the only reason I have come out and I have spoken to, a new bunch of people today is because, unfortunately, even though I'm sure a lot of you know about it, there is no way you're going to sit with your mother and tell her, that this helps, there is someone who has got saved or something has happened. I have a bag there. I'm carrying a hemp bag. Hemp is also, cannabis or ganja. Let's just use the word ganja over here because it's easily understandable by each and every one, in the society. So it does a lot. It makes biofuel. It makes furniture. It makes paper. In 2017, India as a country took 200 million ton of fuel, only in 2017. 178 lakh ton of plastic was utilized by India last year. 13 kg per capita paper was utilized by India last year. That is disaster. That is why we have so much, climate change, and we have issues, we have health issues, because that is pollution. We could have all changed that with a plant called cannabis or hemp. And funny part is, half of it is still legal. So there is a component in it, they have 40 components in it. THC is what makes you high, आपको थोड़ा ऊपर ले जाता है, जो illegal है, और अभी doctors को license मिल गया. There's one doctor who has got the license in India. She's prescribing it as well. But apart from that, there are different components. There is something called CBD. I understand, like I used to suffer from depression and anxiety and everything. CBD is a very legal component available even on Amazon. You can order CBD oil. If you utilize it, or if you go on Google and check the effects of it, it cures depression. It literally cures it. It makes you it shifts you in a happy zone. People like us, unfortunately, are forced so many medicines, chemicals. Medicines is nothing but chemicals. So we are forced so much that at the end of the day, we go ahead in depression. And, most of the people who are in depression, who have anxiety or any of these disorders, are the ones who actually take a lot of medicines. Or if not a lot, in a span of 24 hours, they'll pop at least one pill. So I would suggest, or I would, request you guys to go ahead, look for alternate therapies as well. It does wonders. And anyone who is definitely, having issues with bipolar, depression, anxiety, look for something called cannabis online, right? Thank you so much. Thank you.